What is up, everyone? Welcome to Toffee Blues USA, your source for all things Everton, American style. I am Gerry, as I tend to be on the occasional Thursday, coming to you not live, but recorded from Winston-Salem, North Carolina in the United States. Joining me is frequent visitor, recidivist. He's completely cool with coming on here and talking to me and admitting it in public. You know, and he's got a bigger smile than normal, which I didn't think was possible. I wonder why. Jake Holton from Cincinnati, Ohio, is joining us again from Toffee Targets. And yeah, man, Jake, welcome back. Happy man.
It's good to be here, and man, what a week to join this show. Woof, woof, I feel good. Boy, I feel good. Yeah, I've never felt better as an Everton supporter.
Oh my gosh. It's so we had like just this waterfall, just this we have this frequent drip, if you will, of good news for Evertonians that started happening about a week and a half ago, maybe a week ago, something like that. And it's just a lot of good vibes. And we were going to start by kind of talking about those one by one, and then we'll get a little bit more specific. So I would be remiss if I didn't start with the thing that is not chronologically the first thing that happened, but the thing that I think has had all of us just belly laughing in public, preferably in front of anyone with a red shirt. Got a little derby win at Anfield this weekend.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How's that sitting with you, Jake?
Oh, how's it sitting with me? Wow. I mean, like, I woke up that morning and I was feeling like not 100%. I was not like super under. I was not like super sick or anything, but like just didn't feel that great. And then I was waiting for the team news to come out, and the team news comes out, and I'm like, this side, I feel no confidence in this side. This doesn't feel like a side that's going to go in there and win at Anfield. Like, I'm like, well, I'm just expecting a loss, and
we're going to have to talk about that more later. That's a specific question, by the way, is how confident were you when the team news came out? So you were already beaten into the punch. So you were able to go out and watch the derby.
Yeah. So we had a group. We were, safe as we could be at Digne Gardens, and there was a good number of us. And, I stood the whole time. It's one of the only times I didn't sit for the entire match. I didn't sit during halftime. I didn't sit at all during play. And, obviously 3 minutes into the match, bang, they're ahead, and just you lose your mind. Your head completely falls off your shoulders, and you're just like, I can't believe this is real. We just took the lead at Anfield in 3 minutes. And then the immediate thought runs through your head like, oh no, we have to hold a lead for 87 minutes now.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were up to the task. And, I was really hoping Dominic Calvert-Lewin would have gotten that goal. I'm a little disappointed that Alexander-Arnold took him down in the box, because I think that would have been a really good icing on the cake for Calvert-Lewin to get another goal in a derby, with the winning goal coming super late on. That would have been really awesome. But I'll take the Sigurdsson penalty, and I'll take a win no matter how it comes.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to. I was trying to make a pilgrimage down to Charlotte to hang out with the Carolina Toffees at Queen City Bites and Crafts. Then I found out my kid had a soccer tournament out of town in Mebane, and
It's a bummer.
It was cool because they won the tournament.
It's not a bummer,
but
yeah. It's not a bummer. That's the wrong term, but like.
No, I'm with you, dude. The consolation is my kid played well. Their team played great. It was cool. Plus, this is like an elite team. It's like a local group, and there's like 5 or 6 Evertonian parents on that team, right? And it's awesome. And I've never seen anything like it. It's so cool. And of course, Bennett's game is like right smack dab in the middle of the derby, right? It's kicking off just as the derby's about to finish. And the whole way, Bennett's in my back seat watching the game on his on my phone. I'm like, dude, somebody's got to watch it. You watch it. Tell me what's going on, And so he got to watch most of the game. And then we get there, and I set up the camera because I've been recording my kids' games lately, just because I find it keeps me calmer during games, and I'm not as animated. So the cool thing is, I'm setting up, and then there's this group of parents like nearby. One of them's Colombian, by the way, huge James and Mina fan and all that. But he's got the game on, and I'm able to just kind of lean over as I'm setting up the camera, and it's just a group of people crowded around a phone watching an Everton game at a youth soccer game right before kickoff, and we're flipping out because we're like, oh my gosh, is it a penalty? Is it a penalty? What's going on? And it was oh my gosh. And one guy who actually, I think every once in a while he listens to this, watches this show, but he's Irish, right? And his son plays for our team. And I saw him from across the field, and he's like jumping up and skipping and going, what the fuck are Toffees? It's madness at a youth soccer field, all because of a derby. And it's the coolest. It's because I'm not used to seeing like Everton groups like that, like that in North Carolina. I'm just not used to that. And it was such a cool, it was cool vibes. And I hated having to, I was having to watch the game like on a cell phone and not even see the rest of it live. But the next morning we had recorded it, so the whole family gathered around and watched it before my kid played in the final. So it was like good motivation, good vibes, it was awesome. But not really, it's not the ideal viewing scenario. But I will say, even being around a cell phone with like 5 or 6 other Evertonians, kind of cool. It was not even I can't even imagine being in a bar hanging out, which would be rad. So was that one of the earliest was that one of the first gatherings you guys have been able to have? Since a while?
We've been having small gatherings, like 5 people spread out, masks on, like real safe stuff. And like everyone had a mask on Saturday, so it's not like everyone was like maskless and right next to each other. Like everyone had a mask on, so everyone was being safe, right? But it was a big group, it was like 20 people, we were 20 deep at least, and that's like awesome. Madness in there. Good
energy. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, Jake. Yeah, there's an old movie called A Face in the Crowd starring Andy Griffith. It's an Elia Kazan movie. And there's this commercial with Andy Griffith, and he has it's a shot of just his mouth. And it's Andy Griffith's mouth laughing maniacally. And I've been, and I want to find it and just play it on a loop. It's all I wanted to do after that win. I was just like, I want to find that Andy Griffith laughing where he's going, just goofy grin. That's how I felt. It was just a constant like cackle, Oh my gosh, absolutely, just And you know what? I know I've only had one red message me, and he was fine. He wasn't blaming wind or any of that kind of nonsense. And I was nice back to him. You know what I mean? There's no need to rub it in. No need. If he's going to be cool. But I don't know. Did I remember the times where he was giving me crap about Pickford? Yes, I did. Do I remember all that other nonsense?
Yeah, no,
yes. But
if I had any red friends, I would have been giving it to him.
Oh.
I'd have been giving it to him on night and day. I'd still be giving it to him right now.
Yeah, my buddy Matt, the guy who
Saturday at the exact time that they lost, I'd be saying, "Hey, you remember what happened a week ago? Like this second?"
Oh, yeah, I can't yet. If next time I catch a little shit, I will. But he's this Red's like the illustrator of my book, and he's like one of my friends, and I feel kind of he's a nice one. He's one of the nice ones. Still, I know what you mean. Ugh. So anything else? But we're not going to get big analysis on this yet. We're going to do that after our good news, as we slalom through the good news. I don't know why I said that. Just felt right.
There's never this much to get through, so
yeah, it's so cool. So next bit of good news. Okay, stadium approval in Goodison Park approval. The community plans all approved. The council said yay. So that's just holy shit.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right.
What's funny is I told my son, I was like, yeah, they approved the stadium too. And he goes, what? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what does it look like? And I'm sitting here thinking, buddy, you watched the video with me several times in a row when you were younger. But sure, let's do that. And we watched it, and he was astounded with how good it looked, which is cool. And his buddy's a Spurs fan, and his buddy was looking over. He's like, that's not what I thought it would look like. It looks great. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't think we're going to convert this kid, but still, I'm fine with it. Yeah. Good vibes on that and Goodison. The plans are going to be kind of the community implementation they're going to be using for Goodison. Very cool stuff. So, I don't really know what to say about that other than yes, and that that guy who puts the cone out on the wrong dock and made that video, I guess he was wrong. That's all I got.
He's gonna look like an idiot in like 3 years' time.
Well, I think he may already be there, Jake. No offense to the man's spicy hot take video, but anyway. So anything you want to talk about this? Because I feel like it's one of those it's there and it's awesome.
Well, it's more than just an Everton thing. This whole thing, you're talking about developing, what has been described to me by Scousers as a derelict area that has just been left behind in Liverpool. So you're talking about building a massive state-of-the-art stadium that's going to be one of the best grounds in the entire Premier League, and redeveloping the whole Bramley-Moore Docks area. Basically adding just another piece of the entire city. And why Reds say they have to be against anything good news Everton-wise, but Reds who live in Liverpool should be behind this plan because it is a good thing for their city.
So wasn't there a council person who was a Red? Who
there was,
who voted for it?
Yeah, I think they were like, I might be a Red, but this is really good for Liverpool. So
yeah,
it was something along that lines.
Definitely, very cool, very cool.
But I will also add, that last day at Goodison's going to be really hard. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be an emotional day. Like I already get wound up about it, thinking about it. I'm already starting to feel emotional just thinking about it. I'm I don't want that to end, Goodison Park means so much to everyone at Everton Football Club. Even in the United States, people who've never been there, they just look at it and they're like, that place means so much to me. So, that's going to be a tough day, but luckily for us, we've got probably, 3 or 4 years left with the old lady, so we can enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely going and making sure that my family gets there before, we are going to experience Goodison. It's just the way it is. It's going to happen. That's what I was telling Bennett and his friends. I was like, no, we're going to the old, I was like, the history that's there, you don't understand how long it's been there. It's like, you don't understand the games that have been played there. So you don't get it. And so I was like, we are going there. It's going to happen. And then when Bramley-Moore happens, we're going to go there too. And they're both going to be amazing experiences for different reasons, So, yeah, man. So that is good news number 2. All right. Good news number 3. All right. Where do I even want to go next? Because all these are like super important. Let's just go because I have less information about this one and I have more information about the next one. But Luca Digne signed a new contract. Luca Digne is committed a little more time. So there's some cynical ways of looking at this, like, it means you're going to get more money if you sign somewhere else. Okay, okay. So it is smart business. One, I'm not mad at that. But also, if he genuinely does intend to stay, which is all indications, yes, then that's perfect. He has 6 assists this season in the Premier League,
In like amazing. Less than normal starts for him.
Yeah. Dude. So,
you're talking about a guy.
Go ahead.
Sorry. You're talking about a guy who's created more chances than any left back in the European continent. So having him around for a couple more years is a really good thing for your football club. Yeah. 6 assists this year. Could have been more. There's been a couple, like the Seamus Coleman diving header this weekend. That would have been number 7.
That one, dude.
My word, what a ball. Holy cow. That man can put a ball on somebody's head, somebody's foot from the most ridiculous positions. And I'm like, I don't even understand how that's possible. But yeah, this is excellent news. Even if you're going to look at it the same way, like, oh, well, they'll sell him if they don't make Europe. Well, fine. Then they'll make £100 million off of him. Like,
it'll be a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, but it'll be just smart business. It's another reason to be like, Marcel Bronze, well done, dude. But I think this is one of those I'll choose to be a little naive and say he wants to stay and he wants to be with Carlo. He wants to be with these players and he wants to be with these fans. So
yeah, he's a guy who hasn't shown any kind of signs of not being happy. Like,
not at all.
He seems to. I said this after the Derby win on Saturday. It seems like everyone in this squad wants to be here. Okay, and then except for Fabian Delph, that guy sucks and he needs to get out of the club forever. I hate that guy. He needs to get out of here. He's the only one who I'm like, I don't want him around. But anyway.
I am really sick, Jacob, of you hiding your real feelings about things.
Beating around the bush, me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I should be more upfront. Sorry. I'll do that from now on.
You're too subtle, man.
What do you want from me? Fabian Delph doesn't want to be here.
He wants the basics of football. The basics of football.
That guy sucks, and he never plays because he's always hurt, which isn't his fault. I'm not going to get mad at him for being hurt all the time, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't sit well with people the way he was joking around after the City game, huh?
No.
Yeah.
No, it was a very bad look.
Yeah, not the best. But anyway, hey, no more bad energy on this.
Yes.
Come on,
this is a positive week.
This is good news. Good. This is the good vibes pod, man. That's what's happening right now. Everything's good. We're not going to sully that by talking about Delph's bizarre party with his City peeps. No. So
fine.
Luca Digne's going I was going to hijack this show.
I was gonna turn it into what Everton Twitter is all the time.
A Delph hate fest. It's, uh, so anyway, so Luca Dean staying on, very cool, good stuff. I was worried because I was, you kept hearing updates about it, but you that happens. That's happened before. You hear, oh, it's gonna happen anytime.
Lukaku.
Oh, it's gonna happen anytime. That's the one I'm thinking of, dude. That one burned a little, even though common sense told me the other way was probably
that
gonna
one
be right.
hurt. Because like, yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah, no,
buddy.
I mean,
Sorry.
Yes, that one kind of stung because like I remember like a month before he said he wasn't going to sign a new deal, it was basically set in stone that he was going to sign a new deal, and everyone was like, "Yes, Ram is actually going to stay. He's going to try to help us fight for Europe." And then he's like, "Psych, I'm out of here. I'm going to Manchester United." And everyone was like, "Ouch."
Yeah.
That's not great.
No. Yeah. That one burned a little. But again, like I said, common sense told me that's what would happen. I was hopeful, but anyway, no more clouds on a sunny day, Jacob. No more.
Moving forward.
So, more good news. This bit of good news, all of North America is affected by it, which is amazing, which essentially means that's just good for Everton as a whole. But new Hummel North American supporter group branded merchandise. Okay? The website is www.soccer.com/Everton, and it's one of those slashes that's leaning to the right. It's leaning right. Some call that a forward slash. I've heard people not call that. I've heard people call it a backward slash. That's why I'm saying it's leaning to the right to prevent confusion. Anyway, how did I wasted all that time? So it's really cool because I've actually looked up, my supporters group, which would be Carolina Toffees. I've looked up the merchandise that's on there, and there's Hummel branded stuff on there, which is so rad. Okay. And in addition to that, so it's very specific. It's bringing Everton into your community, unifying your community, which is cool. But additionally, 10% of all worldwide sales will be donated to Everton in the community. And Hummel North America will also donate $1 to Everton in the community for every item sold up to a maximum of like $1,000, I think. But it's very, bringing the club is, Hummel is bringing the club to you. You know what I mean? So it's sort of, I don't know. It's crazy to see Carolina Toffees Hummel stuff. Love it. Very cool. And I'm sure, you could, Cincy Toffees, I'm sure that stuff would be on there, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. They've got their own. We've got our own Hummel branded Everton gear now, and this is pretty crazy because nothing like this has ever been done before for supporter groups in the United States of America, which is unbelievable. I think that just goes to show, I think Everton probably had a hand in this. Like, hey, they've been trying to get better at their American outreach, which has been lacking for a long time, and I think the survey that the Chicago Toffees, what was his name?
Tony.
Tony. Yeah, Tony. I think, his survey, I think that might have had something to do with this. And then for Hummel to be willing to do this, that's unbelievable. This has been such a night and day difference between having Umbro and having Hummel, and like Hummel is fun and they want to engage with the fans, and they're always tweeting every weekend, and like Umbro, you never got anything out of Umbro, and their kits were just starting to get pretty terrible towards the end, and it's obviously the first year with Hummel, and they nailed it with their first 3 kits, and now they're producing, merchandise for all the supporter groups across the United States. It's unbelievable. Like I never thought this would happen as
Yeah.
a supporter of this club. So, to be able to get my own city, with as an Everton logo with official Hummel gear, that's amazing. I will buy all of that I can. And to know that some of that money is going back into the community, to the Everton in the community, like double win.
Mhm. Yeah, I was. This was a surprise, and all those supporters groups and people with supporters groups kept dropping little hints like exciting stuff coming soon. It's coming. Just get ready. And I was
The
just like,
eyeball
stop
emoji.
teasing me. Stop teasing.
The eyeball emoji
Yes,
everywhere.
so many eyeballs, man. And but it was cool. It was a very exciting, and you're right. It feels like the club and Hummel and the fan forum. It seems like there's work happening, and it's genuine exchange of ideas, and they're genuinely trying to reach out to American fans. North American fans. Actually, it's not just American. You
Yeah.
got you
The
got some
Canadian
Canadians
brothers
in there.
and
Yeah. So it's really, I don't know. I was just kind of touched by it, if I'm honest.
yeah.
It was a touching thing. The fact that was happening, and for the longest time, people have said, it's what you were saying earlier. Tapping into the American, fan base, making sure they're reaching out and doing that, and that's exactly what's happening. When I see these beautiful things, like on Twitter, with all the supporters group heads and people in these big meetings on like Zoom. They've taken a screenshot, and you're sitting there and you see some faces you recognize, and they're all just sitting there talking about plans for Everton supporters groups and for the club moving forward. It's exciting. It just matches all the other awesome stuff that the club's got going on right now. It's just like I feel spoiled for a hot second here. You know what I mean? So I don't know if anybody's gonna be able to tolerate, by the way, all this positive energy from us. Maybe we need to say something like negative. So
I
something
can bring it
negative.
down if you want.
Are you gonna be negative, Nigel? Are you gonna be a?
I don't know. I wasn't planning on it, but like if we need to bring it down a little bit, like I'm sure I could find something. In fact, I got something loaded. Like if we need it.
Oh, you've prepped for negativity just in case to
No,
balance
no,
it
no, no,
out.
no, 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 not at all. But like I can pull it off the top of my head without any problems.
You're like Yarmolenko. Remember that? Yes, I
Remember when they
do.
lost? Remember when they drew Newcastle 2-0 or 2-2 after being up 2-0 in the 93rd minute with 4 minutes of stoppage time?
Too soon, Jacob. Too soon.
Uh,
Oh
it
yeah,
was supposed to be. It was supposed to be such a good moment because it was Moise Keane's first goal. It was great,
yeah.
and then
That
it
sucked.
wasn't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Now that we've balanced that out, that's well done. Well done. Anyway, so just one more time, just to hammer it home, soccer.com is where you can find the Hummel supporter group branded merchandise, North American toffees. It's just, yeah, check this out. There's a lot of really good stuff. So soccer.com, leaning to the right / Everton. Yes. Okay. And I checked it out right before I came on, so I know it's right. Just saying. Up to date. All right. So I think we've given that. Fingers crossed. Uh, Tony. I hope that was.
2 thumbs up.
You're excited. Okay.
This is
All
a big
right.
step, Tony.
Yeah. Yes. Very
Shout
cool.
out to Tony.
Always shouts out to Tony, man. All right, moving on. Oh, that's an awful throw. Forget that. There, much better, Gerry. Gosh, it's like a foul ball. It's awful. All right, so the derby happened. For those of you, we've already spoiled this. So if you haven't watched it by now,
Look, man, if you're an
where to
Everton
begin?
supporter and you don't know what the score is or what happened this past weekend, you've clearly been living under a rock.
Frozen caveman, frozen cave person, right? Yeah. It was a healthy 2-0 win at Anfield.
Doesn't that just
Pres-
make you giddy saying that?
yeah.
Like, every time you say it, you're just like, "Who's won at Anfield?"
Presumably our players have almost finished wiping scrubbing the stench off of them from having to be there. But hopefully they'll still be feeling the good vibes from Duncan Ferguson kisses. Because apparently that happened a lot at the end of that game. Well earned, by the way.
A lot.
so much big man hugs. So let's start with the early goal by Richarlison, and more specifically the assist by James as well. I was in the kitchen prepping to drive an hour with my family, getting a bunch of stuff ready, and then I hear my son, oh my god, it's a goal. And yeah, so that happened like that. Insanity right before we left. Took me by surprise. A killer finish by Richarlison. But the assist by James was just, oh my god, it was beautiful, man. So clearly, that's probably our best highlight, attacking wise, of the day. Pretty solid stuff. So, who's your, considering that play? But there's a lot going on defensively. If you had to pick a man of the match, are you thinking something defensive or attacking?
Honestly, this is a really hard one to pick. You could go with Jordan Pickford, who was outstanding in the goal. Go with Michael Keane, who was voted man of the match and was tweeted out as man of the match by Everton's Twitter page. I think you could go offensively. I think Richarlison was a handful for the Liverpool defense. Tom Davies was all over the place, and he hit that outlook pass to Richarlison to send him on his way, and who found Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, there's a lot of good options. It was so good. That was such a lethal counterattack. And it just kind of goes to show what this team can do when Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are both on the pitch, and they're both in space. Like if you have both of those guys in space running at defenders, it's going to be a problem, because either A, they're not going to keep up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or they're not going to be fast enough to keep up with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or B, Richarlison's going to be skillful enough to find the right pass to put him in, right? Or vice versa. But anyway, man of the match shout. I think I'm going to go with Jordan Pickford. He was just outstanding. He was so confident, and he was so strong the entire match. That save on the outside of the boot volley from Jordan Henderson on the edge of the penalty, on the edge of the box, was outstanding. I don't think that save got enough fanfare.
Agreed.
Lee Dixon and Arlo Light kind of hit on how good of a save it was, but I just, if it was Allison on the other end making that save, it would have gone on about it for 20 minutes, right?
Yep.
But he was outstanding, and his distribution was actually on point. I think the win kind of helped him out with that, but his distribution was actually really, really good on Saturday, and he put everything into a couple of really good attacking opportunities. So my man in the match shout, close second goes to Zombies, because he made the greatest midfielder in the world look like a child. Talking about you, Thiago.
Yeah, idea balls, man. He's a master of idea balls. So He's I hate to sit there and do that because he
The
is
greatest midfielder in the world.
he is a very skilled player. I don't want to sit there and just totally, but some perspective is needed. Yes, yes. So also I want to give for Pickford the save he made on Mo Salah in the second half. Did you notice that one?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a 1v1, and it was coming in on our left flank. So Salah was coming on the right. Great save.
Yep.
But did you notice, by any chance, his movement with his legs? It was the exact same thing he did for that save that he did for that thing that happened the first time we played them. Same movement with the legs, except
Wait,
this
what
time.
happened? I haven't heard anything about it. What happened?
No one's ever
what happened
talked
in the
about
first
it.
derby?
No,
Nobody
it's
said anything about it. So, like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
and if only the player involved would have been at the game trying to act like he was some sort of tough guy. No, never mind. Nope, not going to go there. Stopping. But it was the exact same. It was
I heard
the exact
he died anyway.
I don't even know where to go. Where do you go? Well, to be honest with you, a lot of people were tweeting that, so it's a thing. But it was the exact same motion with his feet. And I think the difference is think he didn't lose track of where the ball was on this one, and the player was farther away. But it was the exact same. He did the same leg motion, and so it wasn't one of those things where, I don't know. It was one of those things where I feel like more people should have mentioned that. Somebody like I noticed it, and then I saw someone on Twitter mention it, and I was like, I'll like that. I don't know who it was. I was like, I like that because I noticed it, So anybody who's saying like that was an on purpose kind of thing, that's just the way he moves his legs on those up close saves on that side. Period. So that was solved, which was good too. Killer save, just a really killer save. So in a match where most people played well, did anybody struggle?
If I had to pick, if you're asking me to pick somebody, I wouldn't say Andre Gomes struggled, but he was probably the worst out of the bunch. He was reckless. His yellow card was deserved, I think, because he had pulled somebody back on a breakaway, like 20 minutes before he picked up that yellow card, and then he kicked out. I think he kicked out Thiago when he was in the midfield or something, and that's when he picked up his yellow, and that's when everyone kind of like held their breath. They're like, "Oh man, we have to get Andre Gomes off because he will pick up another yellow card in this match."
Yeah.
So he made you more nervous more than anyone else in the team did. Obviously, Ben Godfrey had another outstanding match. He wasn't bad. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna go with Doucouré. I know Andre Gomes got taken off, but I'm actually going to go with Doucouré. He gave the ball away. But I think the last I was counting, I think he had given the ball away needlessly in like the middle of the pack 6 times, which when you're playing against Liverpool, you can't do that because most of the time they will punish you. So I'm actually going to go with Doucouré. He had a rough one.
That's who I wrote down as being someone. And I always hesitate to use the word struggled because I feel like it sort of nullifies any good things they did. It comes across as though you're saying, hey, they didn't do anything right, which is not true. But my issue was exactly what you're saying, Jake, is the fact that he gave the ball away so much. I was talking to Kieran, the guy at my son's game. He's a dad of a young player, and he said, Doucouré didn't have his best game, and I was like, I agree. It was just a lot. So I think it's not just us. I think a lot of other people noticed. But I want to be clear. That's like one of my favorite players this season.
Yeah.
All right. Like he's.
Yeah. No. It's not disparaging against him. You just can't give the ball against Liverpool. And outside of that, he was fine. Defensively, he was stout. He was making runs forward like he always does. Just gave the ball away too much.
Yeah. And there were times where I was just kind of like, oh, really? It was a lot of those where I felt like a little more care. And it could be he was just too amped up. That happens. You get too amped up. You don't have a cool enough a head. It happens. Yeah. But again, Doucouré struggling is, it's not like it was an awful game, from him. So that lineup / formation, you didn't have much confidence in it in the beginning. I got to be honest, I backed Carlo the whole way. No, I was like you. I genuinely was worried because I feel like we don't normally when we start like that, we don't normally start with a lot of energy. I was not expecting us to, come out like that. I didn't have as much confidence either. And so it's one of those things where, sometimes we don't get it right, eh? It's really okay. I will say, Jake, it's really funny. The lag on here. Sometimes I'll say something and I'll wait for your reaction, and it'll be frozen, and you'll be like this. It's genuinely funny. I'm like, oh hell, Jake got pissed about something. Oh no, there he's smiling. It's the internet. Got it. So it keeps getting me. Anyway, keep talking, dude. I'm sorry.
Something that I saw that they did at the very onset that I don't think I've seen them do all season long was pressure aggressively. They were pressing, and I really don't think Liverpool's expecting that at all. The press was on from the get-go. The very first ball came in from Godfrey, and it gets pushed out for a corner kick. 20 seconds. Had Liverpool on the back foot from the very onset of the match, which how often does that happen when Everton is playing Liverpool? Liverpool couldn't get the ball out of their own half, and Doucouré kept heading it back. Finally, he's able to get it to James, who brings it down on his left foot brilliantly, and then slides it into Richarlison. So, they usually work like that. But the pressing that Everton did made a difference. It made a big difference. And I'd like to see them do more of that pressing if they're going to be playing in a formation like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the thing that really got me was Liverpool's lack of clear shots on goal. I felt like we did a solid job of organizing defensively and making sure they didn't have a lot of clear shots on goal. And when they did, Pickford did the thing that a number one keeper is supposed to do: bail you out. When you have a misstep, your keeper is supposed to be the guy you can go, are you gonna bail us out? You know what I mean? And he did exactly what he was supposed to do. That was number one behavior, and cool-headed behavior. But yeah, man, I feel like that's just the team defensive setup. I love the idea of, just they would possess the ball, but just couldn't crack in. We were covering. It was nice. It was comforting, and it gave me confidence in every single defensive player that was on the field at that time. So that was nice. So as far as the penalty goes, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't really understand people who are trying to argue that it wasn't a penalty anywhere on the internet. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can be you can be upset about your team giving away a dumb penalty, but like honestly, it wasn't a dumb penalty because if he doesn't trip Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's in on goal and it's 2-0 anyway. So it's actually, I mean, like if you want to give some credit to Trent Alexander-Arnold, he did the right thing. Like in that situation, like you can't just let him have a free shot on goal, right? So like if anything, like I don't understand. Like they took it the wrong way, like blaming the ref, like, oh, that's not a pen, this, that, and the next thing. Calvert-Lewin ran into him, and he might have run into him, but he was regaining his balance, and then Alexander-Arnold sticks his leg out and trips him, and it's like, well, and then at that point, it's got to be a penalty. So
well, also one of the reasons he ran into him is Alexander-Arnold knows he's there and raises up higher. That's a direct. I mean, he clearly notices that Calvert-Lewin's right there and is trying to get a piece of him, like it's there. There's a couple of reasons why you could say there's more than one point of contact. Yeah. And so I don't know, man. I agree. I think that was a penalty, and if we're going, if I'm the ref, I'm not really sure that I feel like it warrants a red card. But if I'm going according to the rules,
according to the rules, it's a red card.
It's supposed to be a red, man. The whole time when I saw that happening, I was looking at that guy's phone, and I was like, Miguel, how is that not a red? Isn't that supposed to be a red when that happens?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, the boys on the American Toffees podcast read the rule as it's written in the rule book. Mm-hmm. And as they're reading it, I'm like, well, that's clear cut. What Alexander-Arnold did is a penalty and it's a red card. Mm-hmm. So, because I think the rule states something along the lines of, if it's a penalty and it's a foul on a clear goal scoring opportunity, it has to be a red card. Mm-hmm. So in those circumstances, I don't understand how it's not. I'm not going to get too upset about it. It is what it is. Water under the bridge. No big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good job by Sigurdsson. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Excellent job by him.
Well placed.
Well done.
Very well placed. It was nice.
Yeah, it was perfect. And guesses right, and he puts it in the corner. Allison can't get to it.
I got to be honest. That approach, that staggered approach, drives me nuts every time. It's like I just wish, just step up and kick the darn thing. It gives me more gray hairs, man. I'm just like, just put it down. It's just that weird little, and it's strategy, I know, and he's trying to figure out where to put it. There's a few things happening there. Like, I get it. But when they miss it, it just looks so dumb. It just looks, it makes me more angry than if you just placed it and missed. But you know what? He made it, so meh. But I would have been so angry.
Oh, man. The fume on Everton Twitter would have been immense.
So, any other thoughts on the Derby, man?
Let's win both of them next year.
Very fine with that. Yeah.
With a packed house, hopefully.
Yes, with some people there.
It's looking that way.
Yeah.
It's looking that way, They're saying full capacity by the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Football with fans again is going to be the greatest thing to ever happen.
We took it for granted. We took it for granted for way too long.
We did. We really did. We really did. And it just, every time I see an empty because the thing that really sucks about that derby is Sigurdsson would have sunk that penalty right in front of the Everton fans.
Yep.
Richarlison would have scored his goal in front of the cop, done the pigeon dance in front of the cop, in front of a packed house, and then Six would have sunk one of the Everton fans. Like, you can't write it any better than that, and
The
it
piss would have
just
been boiling.
sucks.
Yeah. That's okay.
Oh,
It's
it would have been so excellent.
it's going ahead, breaking that seal next year. It's open. There
Do
we
it
go.
again.
Yeah. And I loved
Do it again.
I loved hearing I listened to the Rio Ferdinand podcast. Like, it's a YouTube video as well, where he had Holgate and Godfrey on, and I think other people have talked about this on Twitter, but when Godfrey's talking about giving them no respect, and just yeah, it's the way to approach it. Yep. So anyway, just an extra player who's going to bring that kind of brain, that mentality, dude.
He's
that
also going to
mentality.
bring Max Errands in the summertime.
We'll see. We may talk about that in our mailbag.
Call up your best mate.
All right. So 2-0 win at Anfield. Felt like 100-0. Just saying. All right. Yeah, 2-0. That's it on the Derby review. We're going to move on. No, that can't happen. That's better. So, Southampton preview. March 1st, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means I'm going to be at work, and I have to somehow put that on my TV or my monitor at work and listen to the game. So that's going to be an adventure. But yes. and it's in the past, this is one of those games after some really good vibes that tends to slow the good vibes. So, I'm going to be positive, acknowledging the fact that, yes, in the past that's happened, but not this time. No. Southampton right now are 8-6-11. They're 14th in the table with 30 points. Their previous 3 matches, 3-0 loss to Leeds, 1-1 draw with Chelsea, 2-1 loss to Wolves. Their last win was in the FA Cup, February 11th, versus Wolves. But their last win in the Premier League was a 1-0 win over the Red side, January 4th. Winning.
I think it was January 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, winning 2-0 against them is just not for everybody. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Nope.
So,
not for everybody.
Basically, they're not having a good run right now. Southampton are not playing their best football right now. Possible lineup, and then we can talk about their danger men, the people you're worried about. McCarthy, Bednarik, Vestergaard, Salisu, and Bertrand in the back. James Ward-Prowse, Oriol Romeu in the middle. Armstrong and Minamino, Che Adams, and the orc personified Danny Ings. Danger men, who are you worried about on that Southampton squad?
In the reverse fixture, he really tore Everton apart, and Prowse, I think, is a guy that you have to be very, very aware of. Another guy who really caused Everton fit, I didn't really see it coming, was Kyle Walker-Peters. I don't know if he's going to play, but if he is going to play, okay. I was going to say, because he was really a handful the last time, and he was diving all over the place. And if you remember, he's the one that Lucas Dean stepped on and got sent off for it, which was ridiculous. So, but if you're going to ask me for one guy, it's going to be James Ward-Prowse. You cannot, under any circumstances, give away free kicks 25 yards near the goal.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be. Your defenders are gonna have to be extra careful when they get close to the box. Because those players are gonna be looking to go down and getting a free kick. There's gonna be diving that's gonna happen, and there's obviously there's gonna be legitimate fouls too. But like you have to tell your defenders and your midfielders, we have to stay out of fouls in this area
Mm-hmm.
because he will hurt you in this area. So
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse is my guy. Obviously, the second guy you got to worry about is Danny Ings. Like, he's going to be a menace. He's going to be annoying.
Yep.
He's going to score some scrappy goal that's going to piss you off.
He tends to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Ings right now has 8 goals in the Prem this season. Ward-Prowse has 5 goals and 5 assists. Che Adams actually has 4 goals and 4 assists. These are players that produce for him, and guy they signed on loan, Minamino, he's had a goal or 2. Yep. So these are players that are worth keeping an eye on. Ward-Prowse has had my eye for a long time, man. Him and Ings though are the 2 that stand out. You nailed the main 2 for me. Ward-Prowse, I remember, gosh, when I first started watching, Southampton games, I was like, that kid can put a ball in, can he? Like his set playability is ridiculous. It's really sound. And Ings is just, he's like, he's like a angry like warthog. You know what I mean?
Headache. You know what I mean? He just gives you a headache. He gets into these dangerous positions all the time, and then he's just gonna get a goal. He's gonna get he's a poacher. Like he's
Yes.
He's not gonna create a bunch of his own goals, but he is a poacher. You give him an opportunity, and he's going to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, he's poacher is the best word. Scrappy. He finds a way, knows where to be. And he gets under your skin.
You laid out a nightmare scenario for me, by the way, that I just thought about in my head, where Takumi Minamino scores a brace and Southampton win 2-0, and I just put my hands on my head and I'm just like, last weekend meant nothing. It just meant nothing. They literally just reached into Southampton and got their revenge. Like, you just laid out a nightmare scenario in my head.
There's your dose of negativity balanced out by Jake there, just balancing out the positives of this episode.
I would be physically ill if that happened.
It would, yeah. It's a bad one, and I'm a little upset that you said it out loud, but hey, it's okay.
Yeah, I have now spoken into existence, which means Everton Twitter is going to be all over me if it happens.
Nah, man, nah. They don't hold grudges. What do you mean?
No. Everton Twitter, no.
No
Minamino on Monday, no.
No, Minamino.
Sorry. Minamino. No.
Yes. So, by the way, I will say this next topic is probably the most infuriating thing lately. Trying to pick our lineup. Trying to guess our lineup is absolutely
you got a dartboard?
No, it'd be more accurate.
Yeah, you got a dartboard and some darts that I can throw at it with every name that could possibly start this weekend.
I don't know where it's going to go. You never know who he's going to cycle in. Is Alan going to start? Is he going to play him at all? Or is he going to wait till we need him? What the crap is going on with Alan? I don't know. I mean, I've written him down to start just because I feel like Alan seems like the kind of player that would need to start from the beginning of the game rather than come in later to kind of grow into it. But I don't know, man. I mean, I do think Pickford's going to start again.
Yep.
You know, who's your back four?
I would go with. I mean, I think you have to go with the same four that started on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think the exact same back four that we had. You know, Godfrey, Keane, Holgate, Coleman. I think that's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Dean out on the left wing, left mid player. I think that's a really good spot for him, honestly. If you could, honestly though, I mean, if you could, because you've got some cover with Godfrey. Nielsen Kunku is going to be that guy
Mm-hmm.
soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to, I mean, you could switch it up to a 4-4-2 and like play Digne and Nielsen Kunku in a 4-4-2. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they would do against Southampton. In fact, I'm almost certain they wouldn't.
Right.
But I think you have to go with the same back four, right? Godfrey, Holgate, Coleman, and Keane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dean playing left wing. I would play Alon and Decore as midfielders with Tom Davies sitting in behind them, right in front of the back four. With I'd say Alex Iwobi out on the right wing, and then send Richie up front.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So I kind
Actually,
of
sorry, DCL up front.
okay.
I meant to, but Richie's got to be in there somewhere too. So I don't know. I lost count of how many people I said, so I kind of screwed that up.
Yeah, you said it's about 13, but I stopped counting after you said Besic and Martina. No,
uh,
no, no, man. Basically, you kind of got the numbers a little off once you started going with
yeah,
with
yeah,
like just the front line though, really. Because you said the middle line, with Decore, Alon, and Davies, which are the three that I have written down. And you had all the same defenders as I did. I wouldn't be surprised to see Holgate in there in one way or another. Wouldn't shock me at all for that to happen. Because that was the thing. I mean, yeah, when we had Holgate matching up against Sadio Mane, looked really good.
yeah,
Really good.
yeah,
That's something we didn't mention, by the way. We should have mentioned it. It's a little late, but freaking
yeah.
Holgate on him looked awesome. So that's the
Especially
thing.
when he's been like in some rough form recently.
Yeah,
It was nice to see him kind of come out and have like a really good game.
yeah, yeah. So and so you don't think James starts?
Yeah, see, that's the tough part about this, right? Because if you're gonna start Alex Iwobi, you can't really start
No.
James
It'd be
Rodriguez.
and if you do start both of those, you don't start Richarlison. So
Yeah,
it's tough. And right now, I would start
yeah, yeah.
Richarlison, like you said, because he's got a little goal streak going. Let him ride it. You know.
He seems to have come alive. He seems to have come back to Richarlison form. That finish that he had on Saturday was like peak
Yep.
Richarlison. That's like a signature. He get it first time, and it was pinpoint into the corner. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
the keeper could do about it. So I think he's
Yeah.
finally found his form. So sitting him and like I think rotating James out more frequently isn't the end of the
Mm-hmm.
world for this side. I think obviously the team is better with him in there, but I think you can get away with rotating him a bit more.
Well, I look at that back line of Bednarik, who I don't really associate with being a right back, by the way. Um, Vestergaard, who is very tall. Salisu and
Very tall.
Bertrand. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out if we adjust based on the quickness of that back line or lack thereof.
Yeah, there's no speed at all. There's no pace in that back line.
I mean, Ryan Bertrand for the most part, but
Yeah,
uh,
Ryan Bertrand. Outside of him, like you're looking at Vestergaard, who is not very quick. Um, uh, Benarac,
Bednarik, yeah.
he's not very quick.
Um, but yeah, I was just trying to see if that would affect anything. But Southampton is a team that does tend to put numbers forward and attack. They usually have no issues with attacking, which makes me wonder if this is one of those where we absorb some of their pressure and kind of use that and then counter the way we've done so many times. I feel like we're at our sometimes we're at our strongest when we're playing like that. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, which one works better in that sort of role, James or Iwobi? Iwobi, I always feel like, is great for dribbling, cracking through the line, but James for me is like slicing through the lines a little. So I would almost wonder if James would be the one to go with. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good problem to have.
Oh, it's such a good problem.
In this scenario, playing against a struggling Southampton side, obviously James was I'm not going to say he was roughed up again on Saturday, but he certainly was.
That's a point.
The target of some physical challenges. And, it's becoming a theme week in and week out with James Rodriguez. And I'm not saying that he needs to have a break against Southampton because the guys have been off for over a week at that point, So I think I could be talked into starting James Rodriguez, but I think it is good to start Alex Iwobi. Like, I think it is good to keep having him start every couple matches or so. And if he's not effective, you can bring him off at halftime and sub James Rodriguez in because typically we usually keep it even keel in the first half at home, right? It's usually 0-0 going into the break, and then that's when things fall apart in the second half. So I personally would start Alex Iwobi this weekend, and if you can, give James Rodriguez the week off and then come back and start him in the next match.
That's I think there's logic there. I do. So good stuff. What's going to happen score-wise?
I'm not going to predict a loss because but I also don't feel comfortable predicting a win because they haven't won there since I think like December or something at Goodison. So I don't think Southampton are going to have enough firepower to win this match because they have been on a woeful goal scoring drought essentially. I think that when I was watching their match this past weekend, or somebody tweeted about it, I don't remember, I saw it somewhere, they have scored since they beat Liverpool, they've scored 4 goals or something, 4 or 5 goals. It's been absolutely abysmal, but I think their offense will come back to life this Monday. I'm going to put it down as 2-2 draw at Goodison.
It's very close to what I picked, but I'm going to be bold. I'm picking a hard-fought 3-2 Everton win. I think a little bit of the emotional letdown may happen. I can see it. It's been an emotional little ride, but I do think that positive mojo is going to, and I think Southampton's affected by some negativity right now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And right now, Everton seems all about breaking through some of that. Well, we haven't done that for a while. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to say 3-2 Everton. I don't know how comfortable I am picking it, but it's happening.
I can't really disagree with you. These kind of derby wins can be a win that can kind of galvanize a squad. I think there's 13 matches left in the campaign. This is the kind of win that can carry you for at least a couple matches. And
at some point we have to start winning the daggone ones we're supposed to, right?
At home,
getting the
losing
points
at Goodison Park.
That's at some point. I heard Holgate was on that podcast. He was like, "Yeah, we keep giving up points to teams we should be beating."
Yeah, Newcastle. We're looking at you.
Fulham. Yeah, sorry, the Fulham game really.
The only
pissed me
reason
off.
Newcastle, no, Fulham was awful. They completely beat us off our own pitch, made us look like we were the relegation side, right?
Yeah.
But the only reason Newcastle aren't in a relegation battle with Fulham right now is because they got 6 points off of Everton. How annoying is that, right?
All right, Jake. Let us never speak of it again.
Yeah, Newcastle is going to haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. They just continuously keep popping up and beating us in the most ridiculous ways and drawing us. I'm sick of Newcastle United.
You know what, though? If they get relegated, we don't have to worry about it for a while. No worries. That could happen. Just saying.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be playing in Europe, and they'll be playing, away days at Millwall.
Yeesh. Sorry. I said flashbacks to when we played Millwall. Yeah. All right. So, are we done?
The death
Southampton
of Marco
preview?
Silva. Yes. Yes.
Cool. It is super confusing with all the lag right now. I can't tell when you've spoken.
Moving on. Questions?
Yes. All right. So we have a lot of mailbag stuff. A lot of it. So first one for Jacob. All right. Let me see if I can identify exactly who it was that asked. I believe it was someone named, let's see here. Hold on. Alfie Lloyd on Twitter. I want to make sure I gave it credit. What 3 music bands or performers should play at a celebratory opening concert at the new Everton Stadium? Bramley-Moore.
I asked, what was really funny about this question is I asked a similar question on Ask Reddit, like, not specifically at Bramley-Moore Dock, but like I asked, what 3 bands would you want to see in a lineup to celebrate COVID finally being over? I will tweak this a little bit just to try to get it some more Liverpool flair. So is this like me personally? 3 bands I would want to see open up.
Yeah, what 3 music acts should be the first ones to perform at Bramley-Moore?
Okay,
celebration.
I'd like to see. I want to go with like some indie rock because I feel like that kind of goes with the vibe of Everton a little bit, right? So first I would like to see the Arctic Monkeys. I think that'd be a good one. Because,
Agreed.
Leighton Baines is good mates with the Arctic Monkeys. So that's a good one. Red Rum Club would be another one. Shout out to Jeff Wallner, who, turned me on to the Red Rum Club. And their drummer is a blue, the only blue in the entire band. So he partied hard, I'm sure, this past weekend.
Nice.
Gave it to the rest of his bandmates. And then this last one is just for me personally because I love them and they're my favorite band is Bad Flower to headline the whole thing and send us off into a new era of greatness at Bramley-Moore Dock.
Okay, and I will add just because they're crazy Evertonians. I'm going to have to, and I don't know. I think it would be a very bizarre show, but I'm going to throw Camel Fat in there just because huge Evertonians.
What a show that would be.
That would be I would be way too old for it. I guarantee you. But it would be crazy. Just saying. And so anyway. So very cool. Next. Okay. This one is for me. Gerry, what's your favorite ice cream topping?
I saw that one on Twitter. Been hanging on the edge of my seat all day for this one.
I was like, do I have like a funny, goofy? And I'm like, no, there's nothing. I can't sit there and go, more ice cream. I don't know that there's a witty, clever way around this one. So you know what? I think I'm going to say like crunched up like Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces. I got started with Reese's Pieces when I was little because of the movie E.T.
Yeah.
And now I'm still a Reese's Pieces fanatic. So yeah, crushed up. I thought about like caramel, like those caramel sundaes from McDonald's. I grew up. That was my favorite thing. But you know what? The practicality of caramel on top, it's really weird. You know what I mean? Like it's just the texture is very strange. So there's a serious answer to what was probably a jokey question. Hey, all right, now another one, more serious. And I'll, Captain Pasty from, I guess this is Reddit, asks, is top 4 actually possible? This shouldn't take long to discuss, by the way. This should be a quick one. Jake, top 4 actually possible?
I don't see why not. I mean, we're looking at 13 games left. West Ham currently hold the 4th spot with, let's see, how many points does West Ham have? I don't have it off the top of my head because I was not prepared for this because I am an amateur.
Chelsea are sitting like they have 43 points, and they're just ahead.
West Ham have 45.
Yeah.
So we have 1 game in hand on West Ham, who have 5 more points than we do. We have more wins than Liverpool do with 1 game in hand on them. Chelsea are now. I think Chelsea are our main rivals for top 4 at this point in the season. I think. Okay, so sorry, Chelsea and Liverpool are because I think legitimately Liverpool are still probably in the hunt for top 4. I think they're still probably legitimate, challengers for the top 4. I am a big backer of West Ham and what they've done this season. In fact, I wrote about West Ham and the job that they've done this season. They've really impressed me. David Moyes has brought in a couple of really key signings and done an excellent job with that squad, but I think eventually they will taper off a bit once they hit a tough run of teams. I know they play Manchester City this weekend, so they already lost to Liverpool, I think, 2 weekends ago. So long story short, yes, top 4 definitely still a possibility.
Yeah, I have to just flat out say yes. It is definitely possible. You know what I mean? Like, look at the math. Just look at the math and the fact that we are brutally unpredictable. We have no idea what we're going to do. So at the moment, it's totally possible. We just won at Anfield. Top 4 can happen. We can. I mean, at the beginning of the season, the idiot, the naive, stars in my eyes, said we'd get 4th. Okay? It's still possible, which is crazy. That's awesome. It's a hell of a season already. So, yeah. Yes. I just think yes.
Funny. The funny thing is I picked Everton to finish 7th, and right now I am bang on my prediction. But I don't want to be. Get higher in the table.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. This one is from someone who's actually given us questions before. Bowsy Toffee Tits. Yeah. That's a good one. Is Max Errands actually worth the money? His stats for this season aren't exactly jaw-dropping. Yes, he's young, rapid, and exciting, but in product and tackling stats are pretty poor. Suppose there's a lot of time for him to develop. So the question there is Max Errands actually worth the money?
The figure I saw floating around was Norwich want £35 million, right? About that, 30 to 35 million pounds.
Around, yeah.
I think looking at the stats is the wrong way to go about it, because I'm sure if you looked at Ben Godfrey's stats last year, he probably didn't have very good stat in Norwich City.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had to guess, because that was a pretty terrible defense that they had there. Obviously, it was the worst in the division. They got relegated. So that's my problem with looking at stats for a good player on a bad team, because it can kind of skew it a little bit and make them look like maybe they aren't as good as they actually are.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, 35 million pounds, that's a lot of money. That's if you're believing what you've been told, which is Moshiri's going to push 100 million pounds. That's a quarter of it, more than a quarter of it gone on one player. And I think Max Aarons is a really good player, and I think he's going to be either a Premier League player or he's going to be signed by Bayern Munich in the summertime. So he's obviously a very good player. But 35 million pounds, that's really rich. If brands can talk it down to about 20 million pounds, I'm all there. I am all there. I wouldn't pay any more than probably 25 for Max Aarons.
I was thinking 25 as well. I agree. It's almost like I'm cool if it's a Godfrey like fee. You know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, like, that's kind of they've come for you, Jake.
They found me.
I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty. Yeah, that's my Back to the Future. All right, so
that was a really good Doc impersonation by you, man. Like, I'm gonna say, it's really
it comes out every once in a while. I forget I do it. So anyway, but is he actually worth that huge number? I hesitate for that. I think if they hold us to that, we find a different target. Period. We've done that. We've done that before. So, but we are talking about a player. I think he actually wants to come to us. I think he's excited. I think Godfrey is a friend of his, and I think he sees the project happening. He sees what's happening. It's exciting. Carlo Ancelotti's our manager. What? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening at this club right now, and I think he wants to be a part of it. And I think we're not going to have to pay that 35. It wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being like 28 if we end up signing him.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be completely against it. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a merging together. I always say, like, the merging together of stats and eyeball test. Merge those two together. How does someone just look how is your vibe like when you watch them? Do they give the ball away a lot? Are they beat on the dribble a lot? How many final balls are they putting in? How accurate are they? Do they take people on? How good's their communication? How many brain farts do they have a game? There's a lot of stuff. That just by watching. You can tell. So match that with the stats, merge them together. Somewhere in the middle, some kind of truth emerges, which is cool. So yeah, short answer.
Yeah.
Short answer is no when it comes to the figures being bandied about. Yes, if you're paying a little less. And we know Marcel Brands gets the price he wants. He just wants to make honest
Well,
deals.
and I think one thing I want to add on to this is Bayern Munich don't try to sign bad players or mediocre players. They just don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interested in Max Aarons. Obviously, Max Aarons has something that has stood out to the scouts at Bayern Munich. So who am I going to believe? And I'm not saying this person on Twitter is, wrong for questioning maybe his stats, because, they probably aren't the best, but I'm going to stick with what Bayern Munich think is a good player.
Hey, stats are part of it.
That's the best team in the world.
Yeah, no, I mean, stats are part of it, which is, that's part of how you judge a player, right? And to be fair to Mr. or Mrs. Toffee Tits, they say suppose there's a lot of time for him to develop, which there is. There
Yeah,
is a lot of time,
there is. Yeah.
and also it's all about the piece you want to put in your system, right? That's
Yeah.
how are they going to fit in with all, So anyway, so we need to move on, but thank you for the question, Bowsy Toffee Tits. 9 Yoshi 5, I just had to say it one more time. 9 Yoshi 5 asks, what's your estimated transfer budget for this summer?
I think that 100 million is about all you're going to get, right? It might even be less than that.
I was going to go less. I was going to go less, yeah.
Yeah, and it also depends on how many players you're going to sell and for how much money you're going to sell them for, right?
True.
Because if you sell John Joe Kenny, right, you sell Moise Kean. If Moise Kean gets you 60 million pounds, that's 60 million pounds you get to reinvest into the squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you sell Moise Kean and you sell, let's say they sell Gylfi Sigurdsson to an MLS club this summer, right? You're probably looking at 5 million pounds or so, maybe less, probably maybe 2.5 to 5, anywhere between like 2.5 to 5, I would say, for Gylfi Sigurdsson to an MLS club. I would say the least I would take for Moise Kean is 50 million if PSG really want to buy him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sell John Joe Kenny, let's say he catches fire at Celtic and you sell him off for, anywhere between 7 and 10 million pounds, that's a pretty good return, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus whatever you want to invest already without selling players. I don't think it's out of the question to think that they could have 100 million pounds at their disposal. I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than that, like, 70 million, 80 million. But I would say the very least you're looking at for me personally is probably 70 million pounds is your summer investment.
Yeah, net spend I think is going to depend a lot on whether or not we sell Keane.
Yeah.
That's just a big part of it, like I was kind of adjusting myself to the fact that he was going, and then you see Fabrizio Romano say, I think Everton are planning on him staying and playing next season. And I was like, okay, so we don't get that money, but we get back a big time talent. Cool. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. Let's do it. And at that point, if we keep him, I think our net spend ends up being around 50. Once you take off all the sales and everything, subtract that. I think we spent about 50. Last summer was what, 60 something?
It was around 60, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was like 20 or around that, maybe 65.
Mm-hmm. And we have fewer needs now, but I will say if we end up in Europe, we have that ups our need for a deeper bench.
Yeah. Yep.
More usable.
I mean, if you let's say you get into the Champions League, you're looking at you need a definite right back. A lot of people would say you need a new goalkeeper, but then you would have to sell Jordan Pickford. If he has a good Euros, maybe you could get him off more easily. If he doesn't have a good Euros, he struggles. That sale is going to become a lot more complicated. If you make Champions League, you probably have to sell Moise Kean to PSG to fund the squad build, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mitigating factors into. See, it's a simple question, but it's a complicated answer, right?
Really, yeah.
Because there's a lot of factors that go into how much money they're going to have to spend. Because if you make the Champions League, you're going to need another midfielder. You're going to need a starting right back. You're going to need another striker, presumably, because Josh King hasn't. I mean, he's probably not staying, right?
I don't know what's going to happen with him.
We haven't. I mean, we've seen him, I think, make 2 appearances.
Yeah.
So far,
he's done all right.
I mean, he won that free kick that scored us the late goal against Manchester United. So
he did.
I will give him that. People will say, and Carlo has said he's not really in peak shape yet, so
Right.
maybe we haven't seen him because they're still trying to work on his match fitness. So,
Yeah.
uh, but I would my hope would be that they try to bring in somebody a little bit younger
Hmm.
to replace Moise Keane if they sell him off. So, but yeah, so you say around 50 million net spent, and I'm going to say at the minimum 70 million.
Cool. Honestly, either one that's with the value that Bronze has been getting, either
Yeah.
one that represents a
That's
solid
that's probably
summer.
3 players. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, XX Gunther 420. Assumably, there were 419 other people who had the name XX Gunther, and that's
Yeah.
why
Yes.
XX Gunther picked 420
That's
at the
right.
end. I'm
That's
sure.
right. It has nothing to do with a
No,
not holiday in the
no,
United States. Nothing
no.
at all. Nothing at all.
Uh, asks biggest target for summer signing. Um, I have trouble getting really specific with this kind of stuff. I usually like to start with okay, positions of need. Go from position of need, and then so immediately I go to right back, which is a position of need. Um, it's one of the most dire positions of need.
Yeah.
Um, and then if we sell Moise Keane, and if for some reason King doesn't come back, then we need strikers.
Yeah.
We do.
Yep.
But after that, I mean, a lot of it's going to depend. Is somebody leaving? Are we upgrading? Are we getting some fresh, new, exciting talent, or for some players who are maybe a little? You mentioned Sigurdsson possibly. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Sigurdsson. I mean, he's well liked in the dressing room
Oh my
apparently.
God! If they sign Gylfi Sigurdsson to a contract extension, I'll lose it. I will not be very happy at all.
Hey, if he keeps, but Carlo's trend is getting the most out of everyone. So if he keeps blending in and doing a good job, and I'm not going to be as angry as Jake will be.
I can't do another 2 seasons of Gylfi Sigurdsson. I just can't do it. I can't. I cannot put myself through that. I can't do it.
Hey. What if what if things get a little better for Gylfi? You know what I mean?
They had better get better. I don't just mean this penalty scorer, man.
Yeah, I know, man.
So yeah, you're right. Continue before I sorry, I derailed you a little bit there.
No, I'm not even sure if you did. I was, well, say so. Yeah, I guess I have trouble with specifics when it comes to targets for summer signing. It's hard for me not to say that Max Errands is a top target because if we get him for the price we want, I feel like that's one of the first places I go. And if he's friends with Godfrey, and Godfrey's just been amazing.
Magical.
Yeah, so anyway, that's personally where I would have to go. There's a lot of ifs though that happen with certain players leaving. Okay, let's pretend like Gylfi Sigurdsson does leave. Okay, well then, do you find an attacking central player, young, exciting, player from somewhere in Europe? Is that where we start going with that? And if it's somebody young, it's going to be a chance. You're going to be going with potential. So you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of weird stuff there because you can think of some really exciting young players, but I always hesitate to go too far with that stuff because we just don't know our situation till the end of the season.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think you're bang on. I think you're bang on with Max Errands. I think he's the guy that you're going to hear the link more than anybody else. You're going to hear the interest more than anybody else. At least until the season ends, right? Because right now it's him and it's Adrian Rabiot who we are being linked with.
Who's getting to play for Juve, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's not like
he is getting playing time now.
Yeah, he's getting to play for Juve. He's playing for Pirlo. You know what I mean? So it's like.
I mean, though, like Is it really that much of a step down to go play for Carlo Ancelotti, though? A guy
It's
that he's, you know,
it's not. It's not at all. I wanted
especially if they make the Champions League. That's like a lateral move, basically.
now. You and I, we're not hard to convince about that kind of stuff, but all the rest of the world says Juventus is Juventus, and they're
Yeah. Juventus is Juventus, but like Juventus has not been Juventus that whole time.
well, and I think it would be really easy to make happen if he wasn't playing much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
which he wasn't. You
Yeah.
know,
So I don't know. Like right now, they're playing him a decent amount. So
yeah.
you know. Uh, anyway, just want to clarify. There's two other questions. One of them I don't think we can give the full attention to, because it's too good of a question. I'm just going to say. Speak Boy says, as a Scouse Blue who moved to the USA and lived there for most of the last decade before coming back home, I wanted to adopt a U.S. sports team. As I liked baseball, I looked for the most Everton team in Major League Baseball. I picked the New York Mets. Who are the Everton equivalents in Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, and even MLS? And I've got to be honest, Speak Boy, this takes research. This is a hard question. I wanted to acknowledge your question because it requires a lot more thought and attention than we're going to be able to give right now. Like it's tough. We were talking about it before we came on. I told this question to Jake, and we were both like, where to even begin on that? That's hard. I would actually like to make it a topic one day, though, for one of our shows and segment. I just need to remember that this person is the one who suggested it. That's a good question. Yeah, I know, Jake, you had one for Major League Baseball you're going to throw out there just because.
Yeah. Yeah, no, now hear me out on this, okay? Because I know this is gonna be a shock to the system, and it's gonna be this team in particular, but because of the color of this team, good parallel to Everton Football Club. They are one of the originals in Major League Baseball. Everton is an original, obviously, in the English game. The Cincinnati Reds have a tradition of winning, but they've won a lot in the past and have not won anything in time since the year 1990. Last time Everton won something was the year 1995 when they won I believe it was the FA Cup. So both teams haven't won since the 90s. Both teams are originals. Both teams have a history of winning in the past and being dominant in the past. So if you're looking for a Major League Baseball team and you can swallow wearing the color red in the summertime when Everton aren't playing, the Cincinnati Reds are your team to go with. Right now, they are, I would say, they have a manager who's, maybe not the best manager that you can get. They don't have a Carlo Ancelotti, but, that's your team.
So is Barry Larkin pretty much Tim Cahill? Is that what
That's a good one. No, I like that. I like that comparison. Yeah. That's a good one, man. I love it.
I was searching on that one. I was like, who can I do for Barry Larkin? That's the first one that came up. Cool. All right. So, anyway, I'm not going to suggest any because my answers are lame and I have nothing to back them up with. So, but I do want to actually give that attention sometime. So
I would also like to add that I don't think there's an MLS club that's anything like Everton because the MLS is still relatively new. So
trying to work that out. That's a tough one too. So, Jake, we need to reconvene on this at a later date on that one. Deal?
Deal. Done.
Okay. To be continued, Speak Boy. Last question. from one of my favorite names. That's one juicy duck on Reddit. That's a heck of a Reddit name. If you had to get rid of one summer signing, who would it be? Well, of course, we had to go a little negative. So, what is? Are you okay? All right. Okay. So if you had to get rid of one summer signing, who would it be? So essentially, this is really hard because you're talking about choosing between Godfrey, James Rodriguez, Alan. Who else? Who else is a summer signing? I feel like we had one more. Nkunku, maybe? Niels Nkunku?
I think you're right. And Nkunku, I believe, was Ancelotti's first signing.
Oh, Decore.
Oh, Decore. How could we forget?
Yeah.
How could we possibly forget?
Okay, this question is too hard as well. I don't like it.
Honestly. Oh, Alex. Wait, was Alex Iwobi? He was last summer, right? That was last
Before.
summer.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna answer this question. I'm not getting rid of any of those guys. Come on now. Those guys are like keystones to the squad now. Like I can't. You can't like be like, oh, which one would you get rid of? I wouldn't get rid of any of them. Are you kidding me?
It's hard. How could you in good conscience say Alan or Decore? You know what I mean? When both of them bring so much, James Rodriguez is a flippin' global icon. Okay. And Godfrey is a flippin' boxer turned footballer. You know what I mean? It's absurd. So I wanted to acknowledge the fact that this question was asked. I don't know if I have the guts to answer it.
I know I don't. Definitely not. For sure, I don't.
I think in order to answer that, I would have to like put the names in a hat and pick one at random and just go, sorry, your time was up. What do? So anyway, that may be like if you could say out of all those, you could be like, well, Nkunku normally doesn't play with the first team, so yeah. It's a cheap way out. So, all right. I think it's the end of the show. So apologies to that juicy duck. That's one juicy duck. That was just one juicy question.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So, Jacob Bartholomew, we have finished the show.
Yet again.
The show is over. Yeah. So Jacob, do you have anything you wanna push out there? We know you do Toffee Targets. Do you have another site potentially that you're writing with right now?
Yeah.
Do you? I had no idea.
I do. Yes, I am writing with a great group of people over at The Broken Anchor. The Broken Anchor is where I believe you can find them at The Broken Anchor on Twitter. It is a new company that we are trying to get. I am a part of that. They are trying to get off the ground, and I am trying to be a contributor for them. I am writing about all different kinds of things. It's not just football/soccer over there. It will be a whole variety of topics. I have written a piece on Manchester City and West Ham, and I wrote a piece about the Derby this past weekend. I wrote a piece about the Everton Manchester United draw, but I won't just be writing about soccer/football. I will be writing about all different kinds of topics. In fact, I will probably be writing about a local MMA fight happening this weekend.
So is it mainly sports though, or do you delve into like male hygiene product reviews or anything like that?
I would like to branch out a little bit. I would like to write a little bit more about entertainment, perhaps some movie reviews. That's something that I used to enjoy doing a lot when I took a course on it in high school. So
sweet.
So yeah, entertainment, sports, random things. I had thought about writing about one of my favorite cartoons that I watched when I was a teenager, but I couldn't really put that together in my head properly. Maybe eventually when I get it put together.
What, are you trying to keep it secret for a reason?
Well, I don't want to give away what it is now, Jerry, because then
Oh.
it's going to be a surprise when it comes out.
So clearly he's talking about the cartoon film Heavy Metal. It's obvious that's what he's talking about.
Yes, obviously. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's
But anyway,
it's where we were all jumping, you know? So it's
check it out, The Broken Anchor, at The Broken Anchor on Twitter. You can find me there. I put out pieces Tuesdays and Sundays at 12:30 p.m.
I have to ask, what is the Broken Anchor? The title. Like, what does it mean?
I haven't gotten that far into the conversation yet. I have not asked that question. I did not even think to ask that question.
I was curious. I wasn't sure if it's a symbolic thing for the region, or if it was like, hey, how can an anchor be broken? It just has to be lighter to be broken, to not function. So how would that be? So I was trying to work that out, because I looked at the logo and I saw it had like a little crack in it.
We're good.
Okay. For those of you listening via podcast, Jake either has an enormous pet that's tossing him notes, or has family members or roommates that he's interacting with. So yeah, that explains the pauses. So anyway, Broken Anchor. Check out the Broken Anchor Toffee Targets, which is something Jake's been doing for a while, and there you go. So
all over the place.
Yes, that's good. He's a content provider.
Right.
He's a giver. Okay, so
I'm gonna be a social media influencer.
Hey,
if you're not careful.
Hey, it's gonna be all, revealing pictures of Jake trying to talk about different protein supplements. Yay!
Right.
So additional plugging. I need to mention, if you've been digging the videos, if you've been digging the podcast, Toffee Blues USA, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, subscribe to our podcast, all that stuff. You can do that. There's a little button down there, and hit for notifications if you like. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool. This channel is pretty great. There's a lot of awesome guys awesome people that know a lot of stuff, and they let me hang out virtually sometimes, which is cool. So so there's that. I'm okay with the club that would have me as a member, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, so also check out the Toffee Blues on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and the whole website with information breaking down Everton. It's just a hell of a lot of Everton. Okay, so check it out on there. And finally, yeah, I have to do this. I keep forgetting to buy my book, Randolph the Christmas Moose, for the kids. Or you know what? Maybe you're an adult who's not getting to do what you want to, and something's holding you back, like maybe an elf that has no chin. Well, that's what happens to Randolph. All right. So Randolph, or maybe you maybe you want to get into running. Yeah, Randolph does. Okay. Anyway, Randolph the Christmas Moose. You can find it. It's not just a Christmas book there, even though the title, would say it is. Anyway, there you go. You can find it on Amazon. Gosh, pushing my book, man. Oh my God. Anyway, all right, Jake. I just want to tell you thanks, man. As always, it's really cool talking to you.
Yes, always a good time.
All right. I'm gonna go hang out with the wife now.
Enjoy that. That'll be fun.
For about 5 minutes. And then she'll be like, it's time to sleep. So yeah. Anyway, good to talk to you, man. Always good energy, good vibes. It's a hell of a good time to be an Evertonian, man.
Yes. Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees. I'm pretending there's a
I
beef
said
there.
a swear. Tommy Davis.
Yeah, if you haven't found that video, you should.
Oh, you should.
Everybody
You
out
have to
there.
search it out because it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, I finally found it today. Took me that long. It's ridiculous. All right, much love to everybody out there. Jake, thanks again, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure every time I get to talk to you. So thanks for the thoughtful insight.
Got it.
Anyway, so everybody else out there, take care of yourself. Stay safe. Keep riding this pandemic thing out.
We're getting towards the end.
Yeah, maybe a light at the end of the tunnel. It'd be crazy. All right, everybody, let's get 3 points this coming Monday. Much love. Bye.